So here we are, the next little mini section of 6.1. It says complete the factoring. By the way, I skipped one. Simplifying the expressions, that's straight out of 5.1. So go through it. If you don't understand it, please let me know. But it's basically just the rules that we talked about in 5.1 and 5.2. Anyway, moving on to the next little mini section. Complete the factoring the polynomial as indicated. This is finding the greatest common factor, which is given to you. This piece right here, that is the greatest common factor. They found that for you. The question is, what's left? The rule is this. If you're just factoring out the greatest common factor, the result has the same number of terms. So as you're factoring these out, notice that on the left-hand side, I have two terms. That means in here, I'm going to have two terms. If you do not have two terms, stop. You did it wrong. So just like down here, I have three terms. So here, I'm going to have three terms. Again, if you don't have three, stop. You did it wrong. So this is kind of a double check to make sure that you're doing it correctly, or at least on the right track. It doesn't always have to be correct, I guess. All right, so in effect, what we're going to do is when we are factoring out a 2, we're going to take 2x plus 18, and we are going to divide that by 2. That means that this piece happens, and then this piece happens. So to start with the purple here, 2x divided by 2 is going to give us simply 1. It's 2 divided by 2 is 1. I'm left with x. On the other side here, in the orange, I have a positive 18. I divide that by 2, I get a positive 9. That piece, that's what goes in here. And the check for that is you should be able to distribute this 2 and then come back to this. If you can't, stop. That's your check. Something bad happened. Don't worry about using a calculator on this. Use it for the calculations if you need to. Don't wonder. Be extremely careful. All right, so this next one. I'll make this one a little bit neater, I think. Okay, so the general rule, if the lead is negative, that leading coefficient, this guy right here, coefficient is negative, factor out a negative. This is going to be extremely helpful. It's not gospel. It's not a requirement necessarily. However, it is going to make your life infinitely easier if you get in that habit now. If you don't, bad things happen. Factor out a negative. All right. So again, we're told that we have negative 3m coming out. So you may or may not need to do this every single time, but maybe for the first couple of times it might be handy. You're going to divide that all by negative 3m. Now what we can do is we can just put our answer directly into this set of parentheses. So here's my first piece. Negative 9 divided by negative 3 is a positive 3. I have 3 m's on top. I have 1 m on the bottom. That's going to leave me with 2 m's. Next one. Be awful careful with this. This is where people tend to make their mistakes. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is a positive 1. 2 m's on top, 1 m in the bottom gives me 1 left on top. And finally, negative 6 divided by negative 3 is a positive 2. I have an m on the top and an m on the bottom, and they cancel out, and I have none left. So this is our answer. That 1m, it's not necessary that you put the 1 with the m. If you want to, that's fine. I'm not going to kill you over it. What you may find on the test or quiz is that I will omit the 1 and just put 3m squared plus m plus 2. As long as you can recognize that the 1m and the m are exactly the same thing, you will be just fine. All right, there's that one. And then we're going to go on to a third video for the next miniature section because there's a few weirdnesses in there.